where did your fishing journey begin?
Oh, now you're asking. I'm going back a lot of years now, far too many. I wish to remember. But I think I must have been about 6 or 7 years old. And my parents bought me one of those starter kits on a Sunday afternoon while they went to a local pub on a nice hot Sunday afternoon. And I started talking to a local guy down there who was very helpful, helped me start catching some little roach on my very first ever fishing expedition. And like a lot of people really, I went from there upwards, and I like to say I did a fishing apprenticeship until one day we fished a water that had carp in it, and then we experienced our first catching of carp, and everything went from there. And I spent a lot of years actually travelling in the very early days to places like France, fishing Chanticoq and Orient, and this was in those days when 30s and 40-pound carp were virtually unheard of in the UK, but they were prolific in France. So I went from everything from catching tiddlers to that, and then progressed further on to marlin, sailfish, salmon, you name it, all sorts of things really.
So I guess from there, sort of, how did your hobby become your business?
Well, that was by complete accident. Like a lot of people, when I left school, I never planned to run a fishing holiday business. So in my career, I was actually involved in working for a blue chip company, and in that involved a lot of travelling around the world. And being an angler and always looking for those fishing opportunities, I actually found that while I was travelling around the world, there was a lot of opportunities to fish for things that I hadn't necessarily even heard about before, or fish that I'd only read about and heard in dreams. Because what you've got to bear in mind is, we're going back 20 years. We've now been in business 20 years. So the internet 20 years ago was not what it was like, what it is like today. So I started to fish for exotic species and started to have some great fishing adventures, which was pretty unheard of. And then over that time, friends were starting to ask me, I want to go and catch some tarpon. Where do I go and catch tarpon? Where would I go and catch Nile perch? Where would I go and catch big carp? Which was okay, because you used to, talk to friends, used to pass that information on. But very quickly, within a year or two, I was getting asked by people I'd never heard of, friends of friends. I was even getting phone calls late at night saying that a group of mates want to go and fish for this, or they want to go and fish for that, or they want to go to a certain country. And they want to know all this information. So I quickly realised that there was a gap in the market, and getting a little bit bored and a little bit disillusioned with the job I was having at the time, bravely, and why I don't know, but bravely I decided that I was going to jack it all in, and for my sins, set up and try and run a fishing holiday company.
So I guess over the past 20 years, sort of how have things grown since those early days?
Oh, well, as you can imagine, starting out as a company, the number of destinations we had was small, because obviously what we started with was only the destinations that I'd been to. So we tried to sell stuff that we know that's tried and tested. So we started off with a handful of destinations that I'd fished regularly, and friends had then fished regularly. So we knew that the information we provided, and if people went and spent the money, they were going to have a good time. Fast forward 20 years, and now we are in the region of just over around about 150 different tours, operating in, I think, just over 50 countries. So the range has drastically increased over that period of time, because we now cover for all types of anglers. So regardless if you are a fly fisherman fishing for freshwater, saltwater, you're a big game angler, or you're a sea angler, whatever type of fishing or shooting, because we've now branched into shooting. Well, we did quite a few years back, and again, that was by accident, because basically we had a lot of our clients who enjoyed our fishing holidays who also shoot, and obviously a lot of the destinations we go to you could shoot as well, so therefore they said, why don't we organise their shooting holidays? So hence we now have about 6 or 7 different countries where you can go shooting and hunting, and I think we're about just under 20 destinations. So we combine it all really.
And I guess this It's probably evolved massively. I guess in those early days it was just you.
Yeah, one man and his dog, as you say. Yeah, to start off with, it was just myself, and then obviously once things started to grow, I got an administrator to help me out to do some of the back office. Until again, now you look at us now as a company. You know, in our offices here, we have over 10 staff, ranging from everything from marketing to sales to administration to accounts. And then we've obviously got people who work for us full time on hosting trips, people who work for part time on hosting trips, and guides. So yeah, you could say it's grown into a multi-million-pound company.
So, for all this, would you sort of consider yourself a traditional boss?
What would you call a traditional boss? Well, I wear a shirt, but I don't come to work wearing a suit and tie. No, I think I'm more of a friendly boss, approachable boss. I'd say. You know, staff will probably laugh at me. You probably won't see me every day making cups of tea and coffee for everybody, but I'm quite happy to get up and make teas and coffee for the staff and buy some jam donuts and stuff like that. But no, I am quite hands-on in the sense that I actually I do some of the selling, I do hosting the trips, I get involved in the accounts, I get involved in marketing, I get involved in forecasting and the planning of the business, as you'd expect as a boss, but I then get involved in the administration as well. So you could sort of say I'm involved in all the parties.
So sort of for those who don't know, what are the sort of benefits of using Sportquest Holidays, and sort of what do you think has been your secret to success through the years?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And something I have been asked for many years, again and again and again. Why use Sportquest Holidays? What's different about Sportquest Holidays? And as you just said, well, I mean, the difference between us is, if I was to sum it up, and I was to try and sum it up simply, is that we do it all. Basically, we just provide the complete one-stop package. So you don't need somebody to book your accommodation and then you have to go and sort your own flights out. We do it all. So once we've sit and talk to us, and one of the things that we are really famous for doing is to make sure and spend the time with you to make sure that we understand what your needs and wants are. Many a time we'll get a customer call us or contact us and says they're interested in going to fish for Atlantic salmon in Norway, for example. And we then sort of say to them, okay, so what's your Atlantic salmon fishing experience? What's your objective? I want to catch fish. Well, we all want to catch fish. What's your realistic objective? Are you looking for big fish? Are you looking for numbers? And then we find that somebody who's not caught a lot of salmon before, and they're looking for numbers. And then obviously, we would suggest to them that perhaps Norway is not necessarily the destination for them to go fish for Atlantic salmon. They're going to get a lot better experience in going to places like Iceland, for example. So this is just an example. So it's actually making sure that we get a really good understanding of what you as a customer, what your needs and wants are. So then out of our 150 plus destinations, we will then suggest a handful that would suit you the best, because it's in our interest as well as your interest to make sure that you get the best from your holiday. Because if you come back with loads of photographs and great stories to tell, guess what? You're going to want to go again. And if you're going to want to go again, who are you going to use? You're going to use Sportquest Holidays because we provided you with a service. The other thing is that by offering a package holiday, you are financially protected. We provide ATOL protected holidays, which means that should us or our partners was to go bust, your money's not lost and your holiday's not lost. And then also, as a package holiday, if anything was to actually go wrong with your holiday, it's down to us to put it right and sort it out. So if flights get cancelled, we'll sort everything out for you. So it's a one-stop shop, but we take great care and pride in everything that we do for you.
I sort of guess we couldn't go through this interview without touching on COVID. Obviously, that was, how did that affect things within the business? And
the dreaded C word, as COVID, as you mentioned. obviously COVID for the travel industry was like a lot of people, a lot of people, unfortunately, some people lost their lives and some people lost their livelihoods. So, but in the travel industry, it was crippling. It was literally crippling. I mean, we were shut down within weeks, and it took months and months and months and months and months to open. Things closed, then they reopened, then they closed. Our government didn't know what it was doing from one minute to the next. However, what I'd like to say is a huge, huge thank you to all of our clients and our customers, many of them who are like friends, because without each other, we wouldn't have got through COVID. And with their help and support and people sticking by us and moving their trips and keeping everything with us and our lodges, because we're a small to medium business, but a lot of our lodges are small family-run businesses. And if everyone was to pull out their money and cancelled all their bookings, unfortunately a lot of those wouldn't be here today. Thankfully they are, because now things are open, we can start travelling and booking again. So it was devastating, but with your help and support, we actually got through it. And now, coming through it, we are twice as busy now than we were before COVID. And so in a way, it's done us a little bit of favour, because people have now realised what the real benefit of using Sportquest Holidays is, because, hopefully we'll never get a disaster like COVID ever come again in our lifetimes. But basically, when that happened, that was our issue. Customers like yourself supported us, but that was our issue. We dealt with all the airlines, we dealt with all the lodges. So all the cancellations and all the rebookings and all the moving the bookings and getting refunds from airlines and rebooking flights and then getting refunds again from airlines. We did all that. That was all done by us, all bared by us. So our customers, although you did give us great help and support, we made it as easy as possible for you. So a lot of people have now realised that, by booking through us, should a pandemic or earthquakes or something else was to happen, it's a lot easier. You just make one phone call to your tour operator, we're here to work together to look after you. So in the long run, if there was any positive to come out of COVID, that's probably what came out of COVID.
What do you think the future holds for Sportquest Holidays?
Well, basically, just want to keep providing the service for all of our customers, growing our number of portfolios, so we're growing our number of countries we operate in, growing the number of destinations that we are dealing with. We're also possibly looking at plans of being a bit more actively involved with lodges around the world, so maybe partnering with some lodges or potentially even investing in opening up our own lodges around the world. So, keep doing what we've been doing well, but obviously grow on it as well at the end of the day. And to do that, the only way we can do that is obviously with the support of the staff that I've got, and I'm really grateful and thankful that I've got some really fantastic staff. But also with the support of our customers. We have such a big loyal base of customers, and so I'd just really like to take this opportunity on our 20th birthday to actually thank you all, and I mean that personally from the bottom of my heart, because I wouldn't be here now without you all, is to thank you all for all the service, the years and support that you've given, not just me, but Sportquest Holidays and the family that we all are. And that only leaves me to say one thing is, let's keep doing it as long as we can, and here's to the next 20 years.